Hi, this is Savannah,
And this is Brian from the Dorky Diva Show,
and you're listening to Star Wars.
the best place for below average Star Wars.
In a world where people need 80s and 90s movie reviews, two regular Geordies combine forces to bring you the Brother to Brother 80s and 90s movie review podcast. Check them out on Twitter, YouTube, and all decent podcast vendors.
Welcome to Star Wars, best place for below average Star Wars.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Show, the best place for below average Star Wars. I am the Jolly Jedi Pete.
I'm Jason Hondo Ling.
And I'm Kat Reesielke.
And we're back with a brand new episode to break down all the comings and goings in the Star Wars galaxy, a galaxy far, far away for all you lovely listeners. I just want to start off by saying that my passes arrived for Star Wars The Fan Fun Day, which is a Star Wars event taking place in Blackburn at Ewood Park on the 8th of May. It's a Sunday, and I think tickets are selling out fast, but if you want to go along to the Fan Fun Day, you can go to www.swffd.co.uk. Some of the people who will be going are Mark Lewis Jones from The Last Jedi, Warwick Davis and his family, who obviously, all know about Warwick. He started off playing the Ewoks and he sort of appeared in every Star Wars spin-off since, including Solo and Rogue One. I particularly love his appearance in The Phantom Menace as one of Watto's friends in the paddock for the pod race. But yeah, whole host of guests there, people who've played Plo Koon, people who've played Imperial Royal Guards, Paul Blake, who played Greedo, is going to be there. So yeah, like I said, I'll pick up my passes because essentially I've got four more because I'm not going to Star Wars Celebration. So I picked up these passes to see what it's all about. So Star Wars will be there, so look out for us and say hello if you do see us there. Kat, how are you doing? I know you've been very, very busy. Let us all know what you've been busy doing.
Yes, I have been very busy. I have been reviewing Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga for Blocks magazine. The review is going to be in issue 91 next month. And the new game is absolutely terrific. I've played, I think it's 4 levels now out of the 9 Skywalker Saga films. And fans definitely won't be disappointed because this game really does pack it all in.
I've seen all the sort of reviews and the commotion getting made on release morning, and I decided I might pick it up, I might not. And then I got wind that at Tesco and here in the UK, you could save like £8 off the game. So instead of paying 45, I think I got it for 37 with the Tesco Club card, which I already have. So I just made the purchase then. I've played a couple of hours and I've had a chance, and I am really enjoying the game. Kat, are you down for doing a deep dive game review maybe next week?
Absolutely. I think I would love to talk about some of the new features that the game does have, including the combos and force abilities, plus all the characters. There's about 400 characters once you download some of the character packs, and there's certainly a lot to talk about.
Fantastic. And Jason, I know you have the game as well, been playing it on PC. You been enjoying it?
I haven't actually had a chance to play yet, so no, I'm looking forward to having a look at it and seeing how it's going. But it's one of those things. Life at the moment is taking over. But I will be having a look to see what the gameplay's like. I've previously played some of the other games with the Lego Star Wars, and obviously my kids love it, so I'm sure it's something we'll join in and play together.
So you've got that download already, and it's primed, ready to go.
Hopefully, yeah. I've just literally got to get myself sorted.
Fantastic. It's funny because I did we did a poll on the Star Wars Twitter account, we asked people which trilogy are they starting with on the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga game. 78% said the prequel trilogy, 22% said the original, and 0 said the sequel trilogy.
Kat obviously didn't put in her bit.
I did actually. I started with the Phantom Menace. Very surprisingly, I know, but I did start with the Phantom
Oh,
Menace. I wanted to pod race.
So I started with A New Hope just because I was sort of torn between that and the well, I was torn between all three eras, but I just thought, you know what, let's just start with this one, and then I'll see where I go from there. Because ended up realizing it'd been 5 minutes, I hadn't picked one yet. I thought the clock's ticking, so I don't have a lot of time to play this game. So I start with the original trilogy, and I'm on A New Hope still, and I'm on the Death Star, trying to escape the Death Star is where I'm doing the game. Kat, how many? So have you played all of the chapters of the Skywalker Saga?
No, so I've played the Phantom Menace. I've played A New Hope, and I've just completed The Last Jedi.
Fantastic. Here you've unlocked Shirtless Kylo.
I did. You get that for completing The Last Jedi. I unlocked Shirtless Kylo Ren and General Hux, so I went in and bought both of those characters.
Fantastic, awesome stuff. Okay, well, I think we're ready to dive in and talk about some news topics. It's been a busy week, especially a lot of Star Wars Celebration news. Obviously, Celebration taking place at the end of May, starting on the 26th. With some panel news, obviously, it is Brie and Major FOMO me that I'm not going. Obviously, this is the time of year when they start releasing all the cool stuff that's going to be happening at Star Wars Celebration. One of the first panels announced is on May 26th, the Thursday. It's a live-action showcase where the filmmakers plus special guests of the current live-action crop of product, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, and The Mandalorian, are going to be on stage to talk about sort of what's to come. Pretty vague description. Even vaguer when you think The Mandalorian's got its own panel that we'll talk about later on. What were your thoughts on this panel being announced, Jason? And sort of, are you thinking there'll be some surprises in it?
I think it's going to be. I think with Celebration, they'd be missing a trick if they didn't drop a few trailers. I think we'll probably get a teaser for Andor. Obviously, we've got to wait for the panel. The Mandalorian's going to have its own panel. I don't know what will be said about Obi-Wan because that's the day prior to Obi-Wan being released, isn't it? So obviously that's got its own panel in itself. But yeah, obviously the one I think everyone will be looking out for with that is going to be Andor. And yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that series actually, especially as I know bits and pieces have been filmed over here in the UK. So yeah, it could be an interesting one.
Do you think we'll get some unannounced stuff? Like, are we going to see the the Rogue Squadrons? Is Patty Jenkins going to turn up and talk about Rogue Squadrons? Do you think, or we're going to get Taika Waititi turn up and talk about his project? Like, I think Obi-Wan is due to come out. Andor's due to come out this year. As we said, the Mando's got its own panel later on. So I think surprises for this panel are going to have to come from left field. Going to have to come from people who haven't been announced yet. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Yes. I think with this panel, I think we definitely might get a trailer for Andor. We may get something like maybe a production sizzle reel where they show some of the things also going on behind the scenes. That's quite common at Celebration. Considering everything else is more or less in pre-production, I think the only things you might be getting are perhaps announcements for what is to come, or perhaps slightly more details. But at the moment, there's an awful lot in pre-production, so they can't say a lot. So yeah, the vagueness of this panel is quite intriguing. They're leaving it very open. So I'm wondering if they're perhaps going to decide more or less last minute what it's going to be okay to reveal.
Yeah. And then speaking of The Mandalorian, I noticed that the main event panels have been announced for Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we've had no main event panel announced for Friday. I think that might possibly be a Kenobi screening. And that's why it hasn't been revealed. So like Thursday's this live action showcase, and Friday hasn't been announced yet. Saturday we've got the Mandalorian panel, which is called Mando Plus, and that's with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, plus special guests, and they're going to be talking about what's happened previously in Mandalorian and what's to come. And I imagine we'll get trailers for the season 3 that's coming. Do you think we'll get a full trailer for this Mandalorian panel? And do you think we'll get it at the Mando panel, or do you think they'll reveal it at both the Mando panel and the Thursday live action showcase panel?
I think that they'll hold back a lot of the Mando stuff ready for if they're going to put on a whole panel, that's going to be the big reveal for Mando season 3. Possibly also they might be leading into details of Ahsoka, if they've called it Mando Plus, because obviously we know there's been a few more bits coming out about Ahsoka, and I think that's started filming now, hasn't it?
I'm not sure if it's started filming yet, but we've got a story to talk about. They've announced a director who's working on the project, so
Yeah,
we'll talk about that after we've got wrapped up the celebration news. But yeah, so we know who one of the directors is on the project.
yeah, because I know there's a little bit of video or a photograph that's been doing the rounds on the internet that I think is pretty much being debunked as a fan film now, which was Ahsoka with Darth Maul. I've seen the picture, and to me, it definitely looks like it's more of a fan film than a genuine production picture.
Yeah, the Maul is the exact Maul from Solo: Star Wars Story, and there's like no lighting crew on site, and
Yeah,
it's very I think it is a fan movie. Kat, what's your thoughts on the Mandalorian Plus panel?
Yeah, so I'm not as convinced maybe about getting a trailer because they've only just finished wrapping Mandalorian season 3, and considering all the VFX that needs to be done, I don't know. I mean, maybe they can put something small together, but again, I think that might be more like a production sizzle reel, so behind the scenes. I certainly hope that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni talk about maybe some of the Mandalorian lore that's starting to come into the Mandalorian and how it's affecting Mando particularly. Because I think that's something that really interests the fans. Yeah, the plus side, I also wonder maybe might talk about Book of Boba Fett. They did leave it open enough for a second season.
Yeah, I think Book of Boba Fett. We might get a second season. Even if we don't get a second season, I think Boba Fett's story is going to continue into the Mando verse going forward. So I think either way, that's the story arc that's going to continue. I think in this storytelling. I think with there being Mando Plus, do we get like cast announcements for maybe Sabine and Ezra? Here for Grand Admiral Thrawn, who this is who they've set it up with. Ahsoka was looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn, and looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn means also looking for Ezra, and that also means being with Sabine. So all sort of links together. That's what they've set up so far in the Mando verse. So I wonder if we'll get any announcements on sort of those characters coming into it.
Be very interested to see who they cast as Thrawn for live action.
So that is Saturday's main event panel, and then on the Sunday we've got the Bad Batch panel, Sunday, May 29th. It's David Collins hosting. He's got executive producers Brad Rao, who's the supervisor director, and head writer Jen Corbett. D. Bradley Baker, obviously voice of the Bad Batch, and Michelle Ang, who is the voice of Omega, are going to be there to discuss sort of the highlights of season 1 and what's to come in season 2. And I believe Bad Batch has a release date now, doesn't it, Jason?
has it? I haven't seen that. Sorry, did I miss that?
I know we were talking about it sort of a few weeks ago. It was like, it's been sort of moved off the slate. That's what we'd heard, but I'll just pull it up now. I definitely saw somewhere that they've announced when it's coming. I think it's June.
Right. Okay.
Which is right where it should be, probably right after Kenobi.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I'm glad that is the case because, as I say, everything I'd heard had been pointing towards next year, and I was a bit disappointed to tell the truth.
Yeah.
That'd also tie in with because obviously Andor's supposed to be coming September time, so that makes sense there.
Yeah, so it's lined up exactly where they wanted for the quarters. to keep subscribers subscribe to Disney Plus. It's perfect symmetry
Yeah.
of how they want their shows lined up against the Marvel shows, which keep people coming back for more.
Yeah.
I can't find the actual release date, but I'm sure I've read June.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was June. I did see that announcement, but the problem was I saw it on April 1st, and I was really suspicious of it. But if it's still up, then it must be the release date.
Yeah, I just think you wouldn't have a Bad Batch panel maybe as a main event if it wasn't coming this year.
Definitely.
Well, any time that Bad Batch comes along, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, struggling to. What are you looking forward to hearing about in the Bad Batch panel, Kat?
I'm looking forward to hearing where Omega's arc is going to go now into season 2, because Crosshair now has he's turned his back on the Bad Batch, but Omega, that ending with her, she's not given up on him. And it's just, is she going to try and reconcile the family back together? Because she does see all the clones in the Bad Batch as this sort of found family, dysfunctional, a little bit crazy. And, she does want Crosshair as part of that. She doesn't see him as a traitor. So, I mean, Omega now. I think they said she's going to be older now in this second season. So it'll be interesting to see. Has she grown more in confidence? What's her relationship sort of going to be like with Hunter? Because he's sort of like this really big protective brother to her. And yeah, I'm just excited to see whether we can sort of get that redemption arc for Crosshair, and whether Omega is going to be a huge driving force for that.
Jason, you looking forward to the Bad Batch panel?
Definitely, as I said, as you know, animated Star Wars is a bit of one of my favourites. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to finding out more about Bad Batch. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the Camino arc. Now, obviously, that Camino's been destroyed, but we know that the Empire are carrying on with their cloning activity. So it'd be interesting to see where they're going to take that, and also how that's possibly going to link into the Mandalorian.
Yeah, definitely, it's going to be very interesting. I think, obviously, with the introduction of Omega, it ties very much into Boba Fett to the Mandalorian culture. Jango Fett's DNA. It's essentially Boba's sister. The Omega to Boba's Alpha. So I think, do they tease here maybe the fact that they meet each other when they were younger or not? It'll be very interesting. So as you guys have been talking, I've been trying to look for like a release date. So I wonder if that was an April Fool's tweet. So maybe I can't find any confirmation that it is June for the series coming out. But all I know is if it's got its own panel, I'm assuming it's this year. I think if it's a headline panel for me, I assume it's coming out this year. It's sort of, yeah. Only way I can get is the second season set to premiere in 2022, and I think somewhere between June and September is probably best. Ahead of Andor coming out in the autumn, I'd imagine, which is probably when that's going to come out. And then obviously we've got Mando season 3 in the winter, going into January. What do you guys think about obviously, as I've said, May 26th when celebration starts, the Thursday main event panel is the live action showcase. Then Friday, no announcement yet. Then Saturday 28th is the Mandalorian Plus panel. And then on on Sunday the 29th is the Bad Batch panel. So that Friday is left open. What's your guess as to what the main event panel could be on the Friday, Jason?
I think it's pretty obvious that Friday is going to be Obi-Wan Day. It is, they've pushed back the release date for that Friday, and I think it's purely so that they can, they've got a captive audience there at Celebration. I think it's pretty much certain that the majority of the cast and the team behind Obi-Wan are going to be there. And that, really, it's the perfect launch for that series that everyone's been looking forward to. So I think it's pretty much a no-brainer with that one.
Yeah, so I wonder if they'll do like a Kenobi panel on the Friday morning, and then maybe screen the 2 episodes. But even at that point, it would have already be available to stream at home.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but there's going to be, I think the majority of the people at Celebration, obviously, like you say, a lot of people will probably be sat in their hotel rooms watching it first thing in the morning and then heading to the celebration. So yeah, it's. I just think it is going to be quite a massive day for anyone that's at Celebration that day.
Yeah. Kat, apart from what we've discussed, what are you hopeful of hearing about at Celebration?
I think I would love if they announced some new Star Wars animated series. I know we have the Bad Batch
Yeah,
right now, which is absolutely amazing, but I'm sort of missing the animated series. We had Rebels, we had Clone Wars, and now we're just really focusing so much on live action. I would just love a bit more animation. Um, and I don't know. I don't really sort of keep up with the panels really. I just sort of go onto Twitter and see what people are screaming about and what's been revealed. Um,
there's
but
there's one panel I think that I've seen that I think both Kat and I are going to quite enjoy. It's if I seem to remember rightly, I think two people that we know are actually going to be doing a Lego panel.
yes, so yeah, that's a great point. A shout out needs to go to Team Jedi News and my editor from Blocks Magazine, Graham Hancock, who are going to be hosting the Lego Star Wars collecting panel to mark 20 years of the release of Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And they're going to be talking all things Lego, Star Wars, and particularly looking at the vintage Lego that accompanied Attack of the
Yeah,
Clones.
and on that note, I think both Kat and I, certainly from myself, sitting down chatting to James several times, and I've met Graham. I think it was at the premiere of Rise of Skywalker. The two guys there, and I believe there's another collector that's with them as well.
Yes, I think
The
it's
not
Anthony Beckett.
That's it. And I think personally that if you're into your Lego Star Wars, that's going to be unmissable because the wealth of information that'll come from those guys is going to be pretty impressive.
Fantastic. I'm hoping that we get sort of, like I said, I'm not expecting anything from the pre-production projects, but I would like to hear from people involved creatively. I want to see Paddy Jenkins. I want to hear what she has to say about Rogue Squadrons, where we are with it. I want to see Taika Waititi. I want to hear about where we are with this movie. Doesn't need to give us too much away, but just where we're at with it and when we can expect it, more or less, just so that we know what these things are going ahead okay, and that they're not happening anymore, so to speak. Is what I'm hoping to hear, and I'm hoping we hear that in the May 26th Thursday live action showcase panel. Speaking of Mando Plus and the Mando verse and other shows coming out, it's been announced that Peter Ramsey, who co-directed Into the Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man animated movie, is going to be directing at least one episode of the Ahsoka series coming to Disney Plus. I think that's obviously, Into the Spider-Verse I thought was a fantastic film, so I think it's a great director to go and get. I'm glad we're getting some announcements on this show. As Kat said earlier, sort of it seems like it's possibly shooting already, which is probably why they're starting to reveal maybe who these directors are for being seen on set is where the stories are coming from. I'm expecting Dave Filoni to direct the pilot, and then if Pete Ramsey's got an episode after that, and then maybe there's some other directors thrown in as well that will be revealed soon. Kat, what were your thoughts on this director announcement?
Yeah, so this is really interested to finally get some director announcements. I think Ahsoka's supposed to start filming end of next month. I must admit, I have not seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, quite shockingly. I'm getting through the Spider-Man films, getting through them. But I have seen Rise of the Guardians, which Ramsey directed completely. And that is my favourite DreamWorks film of all time, apart from Spirit Standing with the Simran. And I think he definitely, as a director, likes to focus on stories that deal a lot with human emotion. So that seems to be a really good fit, I think, for the Star Wars universe.
Definitely. Jason, are you happy that we're finally getting some sort of reveals on these upcoming series and we know who's going to be working on these projects, which to me just makes the projects feel even more, real, that we're definitely getting them.
Well, yeah, because Kat's just revealed something that I didn't realise this was the guy that had done Rise of the Guardians, because I absolutely love that as an animated film. I think it is just a beautiful film in itself as well. As you say, the fact that it's got all the human emotion, and that's what's going to be needed for the character of Ahsoka. So yeah, I have to admit it's nice to hear more coming about it. Because it is one series. Ahsoka's one of my favourite characters, and what I've seen of Rosario Dawson so far, although I was upset that obviously Ashley didn't get the chance to play Ahsoka, I think the character is in very good hands. And like you say, it's a no-brainer really that Dave Filoni's going to be all over this series, because Ahsoka is his baby. That's really, he saw her through the journey in the Clone Wars, brought her into Rebels, and now we get to see the continuation of that journey. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm glad that they're going for some really classy sort of directors if they're going down that sort of route.
Definitely. Moving on from that, I think obviously we've talked about the Lego game and how fun me and Kat have found it so far. Obviously, Jason, you're ready to start playing it once you get a chance. You've got it downloaded already. But there's also been quite a lot of Lego sets released lately that we haven't really mentioned. Do you want to run us through the best ones, Jason? The ones that you really want to get, and the ones you think are the best?
Well, as per everything, I just really need Lego to start sending me kits free of charge. But on the other side, there was, obviously beginning of the year, we had quite a few announcements for different ones, and over the last couple of weeks, we've had more and more coming through. Obviously, the first ones that came available March the 1st, I think, which was the Lego helmets. These ones, really, out of the three that were released, I only really want to purchase one of those, and that's the Mandalorian. The Luke Skywalker one, I'm not overly fussed by the look of it. It's just not one that I think has gone right for the Lego helmets range. And then the Dark Trooper, again, I'm not overly fussed with that one. But I suppose if I had the opportunity, I would purchase it. Those three are all readily available now at $59.99. But I know obviously lots of deals can be found and those prices vary. Obviously, another one that's out already at the moment is the Boba Fett's throne room. That's a set that I really like the look of. I've always, years and years ago, I had Jabba's throne room as the Hasbro set, or not Hasbro. I think it was a Kenner Toys set. But sadly, being a child, I wrecked it. So I always had that flick open trapdoor. So Boba Fett's throne room is one. I do like the look of that kit. But that is a pricey one at $89.99. But again, I'm always on the lookout for a good deal on that one. Another one that came out at about the same time, which was a popular one for a lot of people, is the Star Wars Dark Trooper attack set. Obviously, a lot of people after the end of Mandalorian wanted to get a Dark Trooper figure. So obviously this set, from what I can see, it's a really nice set as well, almost a diorama type set, and quite reasonably priced. I know it's retails at $24.99. I think recently that's been as cheap as $19.99 on Amazon. So that's one that I'm looking at possibly getting. And then obviously the announcement came with the diorama collection, which is, I think, a pretty impressive looking collection. Um, with you've got the Death Star trench run diorama from A New Hope, which is $54.99. That one's probably the one I'm least likely to purchase, because it's nothing too exciting. Then you've got the Dagobah Jedi training diorama, which I've already got the little Yoda's hut kit, so I like it. I do like the way it looks, and as a display piece, I think it's a really nice looking display piece. But at 69.99, not sure if I'd go for that one. And then there's Death Star trash compactor diorama, which does look a lot of fun, and which has got some rather unique looking new prints for the R2D2 and 3PO, which apparently are going to be unique to that set. So that's going to put up the price of minifigures, which we know they try to avoid. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that one. I know obviously in America, the Death Star trash compactor sets are Walmart exclusive, but I know it is available at lego.com. And then the most recent announcement, which I'm quite excited about, is the Republic fighter tank. It looks like that's due out, I think, the 26th of April. For me, it's a nice looking kit. I like anything Clone Wars related anyway. And it's got a new print for Mace Windu, which looks really nice as well. Plus, you get a nice selection of clone troopers in it, which to me is always good fun. But yeah, so really over the last few months, and I know there's more rumoured to be coming in the next couple of weeks as well, or the next few weeks. So I think we've got a lot of Lego Star Wars coming this year. Most recently, I've actually managed to purchase the Armourers set, and that to me, that's probably one of my favourite sets now, which I'm in the process of putting on display in my new office, so I'm happy with that.
What was included in the armourer set? Was that the armourer with her blacksmith's area?
Yep. So you've got the armourer. You've got obviously the Mandalorian in his armour, and then you've also got. I know we spoke about this last time. Was it? We worked out it was Paz Vizsla, I think, wasn't it?
Correct.
Oh yes, and obviously there's the other kit that is due out that relates to the last series of the Book of Boba Fett, which is obviously the Mandalorian's new N1 Nabooian 1 Starfighter. That's one that I'm going to be saving up for quite a lot. Well, no, so I think it's retailing at $54.99. And that's due out on the 1st of June, so that comes quite nicely after my birthday, so I might be able to treat myself.
Kat, you got any Lego from the list that Jason just read?
The only one I think I would be tempted by is the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. The rest I'm not particularly fussed on. Lego Star Wars has always been a very expensive range due to the license, but with the price hikes by the Lego Group, it's become now most of the sets now are overpriced. So unless you can get good discounts, very few are value for money at their full price. And while I like the dioramas, I just wish the Lego designers wouldn't keep drilling away at the nostalgia of the original trilogy. Why couldn't they've given us like a pod race diorama? There's so much material from the Star Wars universe, and yet they always go for the original trilogy. And it's just, I mean, it really is sort of rehashing, because you can, I mean, the Death Star trash compactor is in the Death Star sets, and Dagobah's hut was released a few years ago. So it's the re-release bug with the Lego Group is a serious thing in the Star Wars theme.
I think some of the sets I've been excited about is I'm excited about the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. I think, as we all are. And then there's also a small set come out this year. It's Luke Skywalker versus the Dark Troopers from the end of Mandalorian Season 2.
Yeah, that's the one that I think a lot of people were quite excited by. It wasn't amongst that list, and it does look a lot of fun, because I think there's a mechanism so Luke sort of comes through revealed in the doorway. So that's definitely one on my list.
It did have an issue with torso printing on the Dark Troopers. The torso printing was the wrong way around. So I think it had to sort of go back into production to fix that. So I don't know if the current sets available do have it fixed. If you've got one of the ones where it hasn't been, then you've got yourself quite the collectible.
Indeed. Everybody check. If you've got one of those ones that's the wrong way around, definitely keep it, because, if they've done a product recall, you've probably got quite a rare item there. Apart from Lego, Jason, have you been purchasing any other Star Wars merchandise lately?
No, I've been quite good just recently. I've been eyeing up a few different T-shirts, but nothing's come through at the moment. There's a few books that are coming out. I think I'll be looking at more like the reference side of books. But at the moment, I think for me, purchasing stuff's sort of slowed down. Because obviously circumstances are a bit chaotic at the moment.
They are indeed, certainly with the increase in the cost of living here in the UK. And we never know when it's going to stop. I did place some pre-orders though, because I got very itchy with some of the, I mean, believe it or not, from someone who didn't used to collect the vintage collection, I've now pre-ordered some of the new figures that come out in the vintage collection. So I did pre-order. Where's it gone? I'm trying to find my pre-order now. It's vanished. Don't say it's sold out. I'll just vanish.
There's one thing I did spot the other day that I am so tempted by, but I'm resisting at the moment, and that's Trapper Wolf's helmet.
Oh, is that in the Black Series line? Yeah.
Yeah, it does look. And being a huge Dave Filoni fan, I've always thought I want to get a X-wing helmet, but the thought of getting the Trapper Wolf one really does appeal to me at the moment.
Yeah, it did look good. I think it's got the New Republic logo on as well, isn't it? The New Republic logo, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I ordered two from the vintage collection, which is the 3/4 inch figure line. I ordered Shea Vizsla, who is from the video game series, I believe, from the Expanded Universe. So yeah, I've pre-ordered her just because she looks awesome. And then I've also pre-ordered a Mandalorian commando, but the super commandos, the captain, but the one in the Darth Maul red and black with the horns on the helmet, in the 3/4 inch line as well. Yeah, so that's what I pre-ordered. Just couldn't resist. I just got very itchy all of a sudden, and before I knew it, I'd placed an order. Probably won't see it until next June, because that's what it's like in the minute with stuff coming across the water in boats. There's been big delays with stuff coming across, but I'm glad we've got those orders in. Kat, have you got any Kylo Ren merchandise on pre-order or anything that you're looking to pick up soon?
Well, recently I had my Leia Yavin 4 ceremony Black Series figure turn up. So I've put that in my little Leia corner. I haven't ordered any Kylo Ren figures. There haven't been any like since Rise of Skywalker, so I'm in withdrawal. But I have pre-ordered Star Wars number 25 by Charles Soule, because in that issue there's going to be a Kylo Ren story, and he wrote The Rise of Kylo Ren, which is one of the best Marvel comic series of all time, and I'm super excited for it. So excited that I've also pre-ordered one of the cover variants. I don't even know what the cover variant is, but it is drawn by Will Sliney, and he did the artwork for The Rise of Kylo Ren. So I'm hoping it's the Kylo cover.
Fingers crossed. Did you see? I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I'm going to. Star Wars: A Black Series 6-inch Sergeant Creel from the comic book.
Yes, that is a very cool figure. The one I'm after, which I'm going to have to pre-order, is the Star Wars Black Series Leia, based on the comics of Leia, where she's got her little like poncho hoodie thing. That looks a really great figure, and the box is gorgeous because it has the comic art on it.
Yeah, I think the comic art looks fantastic. But I think that Leia, sort of a cross between Leia and Padme in the stylings, I think it's done on purpose, and I think it's great to see that sort of depicted in a figure. That was sort of got Leia sort of styling herself based on her mother a little bit. I think that's really cool. And there's also a Black Series Infinite Darth Vader, which I'm not quite sure the background of that, but it's sort of like a Darth Vader all in white, which is also up for pre-order. It's up for pre-order. Places I've seen it's up for pre-order as a Hasbro Pulse, which is available in the UK now. If you just Google Hasbro Pulse UK, you'll be able to see all the Black Series and the 3/4 inch items up for pre-order, and stuff that's on stock to buy, and also Star Action figures as well. I usually make my purchases from. And that's I've made some pre-orders there as well. And I think Comics and Cocktails have quite a lot of this stuff on pre-order as well. Is that right, Jason?
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't done a order recently, as I said, because I've been very good. But I know Comics and Cocktails, obviously in Forbidden Planet, I think they've got a lot of the pre-order stuff on as well. So yeah, there's lots of guys out there that'll get the figures in for you.
Definitely. There's also a deluxe Black Series Saw Gerrera coming out, which the figure looks absolutely fantastic. I do hope they throw in some more accessories and just as walking stick for that deluxe price point, mind. So we will find out. I did get the Boba Fett Return of the Jedi deluxe figure for my birthday off my sister. And again, that so comes with the jetpack, comes with the flames for the jetpack, comes with the flames for his flamethrower, comes with a grappling hook, comes with his blaster and then a cut up version of his blaster. So like lots of accessories in there for the deluxe price point. Fantastic. So they just need to keep, adding the value to these deluxe figures, and I don't mind paying the higher price point. But if it's getting to the point where it's just going to be like, someone on a blaster or someone on a walking stick, then like, no Hasbro. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it for paying the deluxe money. Give us the deluxe accessories.
And can they do a deluxe Kylo Ren or Ben Solo whilst they're at it? That would be really good.
Have you got the Ben Solo Kylo Ren from Celebration London?
No, I don't have that one. The only the only really sort of fancy one I can think of is I've got the Last Jedi Throne Room Kylo Ren, which comes in a display box. That's the only.
It comes with the floor panel, doesn't it?
Yes, that's the one.
So you can get a deluxe Snoke, and the deluxe Snoke's seat fits into the floor panel to create the diorama.
Yeah, I think they did. I'm not sure, they may have even done a matching Rey. I just obviously had the Kylo one, because I don't think I even have a Snoke figure. I'm not convinced I do, because I'm like, why do I want to display Snoke and Palpatine?
Yeah. What you could do though, if you buy that, because it's not the normal Snoke, if you buy a deluxe Snoke with the seat, clip it into the floor, and then you can have Kylo Ren sitting on the throne.
That would look really cool. That would look like some of the really cool concept art they had of it.
Definitely worth it.
Because we are collectors who take the figures out of the box. Release your figures.
Let them breathe.
Do not be
Sometimes.
afraid to cut that tape. Get them out. Release them.
Sometimes.
I have to admit, I'm bad with bad Black Series ones. Most of mine are still in their boxes at the moment.
Black Series ones are fine because they're actually really easy to get out of a box and you can put them back in. Super easy.
True.
The only ones that I never open are obviously the blister pack ones because anything in the vintage series, it's just on the cardboard and I cannot rip the cardboard.
Yeah, it does get difficult. Is there any other news topics you think we've missed that you just want to cover, guys?
I don't
No,
think
I
anything
don't.
has dropped.
No, obviously, there's a lot of the Comic Cons are really starting to come off at the moment. I know, obviously, we mentioned the Mega Con, which I think was fairly successful. Just had a few teething problems. After talking to Steve, I think in November I'm going to be heading for Telford because it sounds like that Comic Con that they had there was absolutely awesome. But I'm looking through at the moment, trying to work out which ones I'm going to visit this year. I would have liked to have joined you, Pete, up at the Fan Fun Day, but for me, it's quite a long trek. So at the moment, time and money just doesn't allow it. But I think I'd urge everyone, keep an eye out for local Comic Cons and support them because obviously with everyone starting to come out of lockdown now, as we were, and actually being able to attend the Comic Cons. But I would say be careful and obviously take relative precautions because I know there's been a lot of instances where people have been ill, and it is still about, but obviously we want to start enjoying ourselves.
Indeed. I'm excited to go to Blackburn because I don't know if you know this, but Blackburn is where fellow Geordie Alan Shearer won the Premier League. So,
Ah,
yeah, so get to go to Ewood Park, the home where Alan Shearer won the Premier League before he came back home to be a legend. So, yeah, very cool. I'll be heading up there with my good friend Luke. So, again, get yourself looking around for the Joy Jedi Pete and Luke will be about at Star Wars Fan Fun at Ewood Park on
I
the
take it you'll
8th of May.
you'll have your you'll have your Star Wars jacket on. I take it, Pete.
I think so. Yes, I think if not, I'll certainly have a Star Wars cap on, so you'll be able to spot us. We'll be about. Come and say hi. Any questions? If you've got any thoughts that you want on the podcast, come let me know as well. We can always record some voice bites and get them put on the show. I think that's all news wise. Then I think I have started reading the Into the Dark by Claudia Gray Cat, so I'm moving along in my journey of the High Republic.
Oh, Claudia Gray. She is the godmother of Star Wars literature, but she will rip your heart out. She writes twists, turns, and endings that will leave you needing therapy. That is all I will say about that.
So I'm hoping to read through that pretty quick, and then what's the next main novel I need to read after I've read Light of the Jedi, which I've just finished last week?
Okay, so after Light of the Jedi, it is The Rising Storm by Cavan Scott. He also breaks your heart about 1,000,000 times over. So yeah, go into that with plenty of stress snacking. Definitely will need chocolate to get through that book.
Well, I love chocolate, so that's fine with me. I need to buy that book. I've actually got The Fallen Star, which is the third novel already. I've got a signed copy of it actually, which I'm pretty pleased about. But I need to get the middle novel still. So I'm going to continue reading Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, and then while I'm nearly finished that, I'll purchase a copy of the next one, and then I'm ready. Already got The Fallen Star ready to read next. I take it you're up to date with the High Republic Cat.
Yes. Well, actually, no, not quite. I still need to read Midnight Horizon by Daniel Jose Older, which everybody is raving about. But apart from that, yes, I am caught up, and phase 1 now has completed, so it's a bit of a breather now until the fall when Phase 2 starts.
I have met a certain character who I'm a bit unsure about. I think they could be very sinister at heart.
Which character is that?
Well, he doesn't really show much emotion. That's if he is a he. Doesn't show much emotion. He just seems to appear in the background, and that is Geode.
Okay, Geode, my man, my rock. He is absolutely not sinister. He is okay. So yeah, he is a bit rocky and toughy on the outside, but honestly, he is probably the best emotional support in Star Wars, apart from Ember the Charhound.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad you've cleared it up for us. Jason, you reading any Star Wars material at the minute?
I'm not. It's something I've got to get back into. I keep looking at stuff. I've got so many books to go through. But no, I promise the next couple of weeks. Life's starting to slow down a bit with setting up stuff that I'm setting up at the moment. So I might actually get some time to do bits and pieces.
Yeah. I think Star Wars, the world is heating up a lot, obviously with Celebration coming. As we've spoke about, they're announcing the panels now, the details of the panels, and it's all very exciting. I definitely wish I was going, but I'm not. Anybody's going to Celebration, if they can pick me up one of those Attack of the Clones anniversary caps on the store, I'll be very much appreciated. Obviously, sort out some money and pay for shipping. Let me know, because I desperately want one of those caps. But yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic event, and I think everybody going is going to have a great time. I'm a little bit jealous, but I'm also really happy for everybody going. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm contemplating putting the weekend off at work just so I can watch the live stream. Assuming there is a live stream, because I know they haven't announced whether the Star Wars show will be back or not to host it. But I do hope it is Andy and Anthony are back hosting the live stage, because it's always my favourite part of Celebration, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, fingers crossed it's live stream, we can watch it, which will be really, really good. Kat, any closing thoughts, and let the people know where they can find you on social media?
Oh, it's been great talking about all things Star Wars news at the moment, and I can't wait to talk really deep dive into Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, because I have so many thoughts about that game. And if you want to see my progress currently on Lego Skywalker Saga, then head over to my Twitter at CatKylo, where I am posting screenshots from the game, so you can see what's going on, you can see the amazing graphics, and you can see what shirtless Kylo Ren looks like in the game.
That's everybody's going there now to see shirtless Kylo. Sex does sell, I'm afraid. Jason, where can the people find you on social media, and any closing thoughts about anything we've discussed today?
Well, as per usual, I'm at Hondo Ling. Yes, I remembered it. And yeah, I just no real closing thoughts. Obviously, a lot of excitement. Looking forward to Celebration. If anyone wants to reach out, please do on Twitter, and be good to hear from people what they're looking forward to with Star Wars, and in particular, if you got any con information that you want to let us know about, because it's something that I like attending. So anyone who's got any information about the cons, please drop us a shout.
Definitely. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at BorsStar. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and Facebook at Star Wars Podcast. You can also follow us on TikTok at Star Wars. If you listen to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star review. That'll be fantastic. If you're listening to it on another podcast app, if it has a review system again, please leave us a good review. It helps other people find us and helps us book other guests. Obviously, last week it was great to catch up with Ian, another one of our co-hosts, and talk Star Wars with Ian. We've also recorded a new Pewdie Belter special with Silva, who is a big Star Wars thrifter. She lives over in the Bay Area in California, and essentially she has an awesome Star Wars collection, and every weekend she's sort of out hunting for Star Wars memorabilia at sort of thrift stores and markets, and get some really good stuff at really good prices. And we're going to talk about that collection and sort of how she hunts for Star Wars merchandise in that episode, which should be coming soon as well, which I think you'll all enjoy. But that's all from me. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geordie Jedi Pete. But again, thank you very much for listening. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. And remember, always tell that to Kanja Club.
Hello, Star Wars listeners. This is Savannah Odit. You might know me as host of The Dorky Diva Show with my co-host Brian Balance. I am also producer of The Adventures of the Zolan Dart, which is a Star Wars-inspired audio drama that we produced over the last year. If you love stories about smugglers, courage, heroic characters, and maybe a few foes along the way, you should go to thedorkydivashow.com and listen to The Adventures of the Zolan Dart today.
Shout! We've got your pigs.
Were any of the critters harmed?
What did you do now?
I didn't do anything. I just freaked out for no reason.
It was nice doing business with you again. Maybe next time we could deliver something less temperamental.
Now, what you call temperamental, I call fun.
Hey, is there a place nearby where I can make some repairs?
3 clicks south of here, you'll find a small spaceport. They should have what you need, as long as it's nothing too big.
Dynamic class? My stars, you don't hear about many of those still being space-worthy.
It's been in my family for a while.
She's pretty great. Any chance you have a hover cart we can use to load up?
I'll check out the HoloNet to see if anything new has come up in the sector.
My name is Sereth Khan. I am the chief here on Kamai. My people and I have been experiencing food shortages as of late due to unforeseen natural occurrences. We are looking to hire someone.
I say we take this one. The pay is great, and it's the type of job we're familiar with.
Welcome. You must be Captain Otoa. I've already sent word to Pac 2 to expect you in the next cycle or so.
You told him we were coming before we even accepted the job. That's rather presumptuous, isn't it?
Perhaps, though once I received confirmation that you were interested and on your way here, I couldn't help but hope.
Fair enough. Well, we'll be back as soon as we can.
Well, that's not good.
Is that blaster fire I hear?
So you're the one.
Captain, it sounds like they want to do this the hard way.
I love when they got some fight in them.
This is bad. This is bad.
We're about to have a lot of company.
I'll see you soon.